Sandman by Neil Gaiman is one of the greatest monuments of the modern fantasy and graphic literature. The Sandman universe is vast, dreamlike, and layers with mythology, philosophy, and human emotions. What makes Sandman fascinating is its exploration of profound themes such as destiny, change, mortality. Sandman poses deep questions about identity, free will, and the nature of dreams and reality. Those aspects have given Sandman a unique place not only in the worlds of comics, but in literature. Analyzing the universe and characters of Sandman is both complex and rewarding, as they are all imperfect, fragile, and deeply human, despite their divine origin. The Endless. The main characters of Sandman are the Endless. The Endless are the anthropomorphic representation of the powerful natural forces they embody. They regard themselves as a family, referring to each other as siblings, and they are known to be the children of the cosmic entities Mother Night and Father Time. From oldest to youngest, they are destiny, death, dream, destruction, desire, despair, and delirium, who was previously known as delight. Some call the endless gods. This is not correct. The endless are not gods representing the things that they are named after. Dream is not a god of dream, nor death is the god of death. Rather, they are those concepts themselves. Destiny is the fate of all things. Death is the death of all things. Dream is the dream of all things. They exist eternally because those concepts are eternal. The endless are the most abstract concept, ideas, viewpoint, and values. Their existence transcends all laws of physics that apply to other living beings. If someone manages to kill an endless, although it is extremely difficult, they can only kill their physical form, a physical manifestation of that endless. That endless will still exist, and another physical manifestation of that endless will be born. The endless have no form. The form we see is what our brains imagine to define an abstract concept, because everyone's perspective is different. The endless will also differ from person to person. An African might see dream as having dark skin, like their own people. A cat might see dream as a cat. A flower might see dream as a flower. Or Cthulhu might see dreams in the form of great old ones, such as himself. Each endless has their own realm. Within it, they are omnipotent. Each realm is boundless, and each of those realms is merely a part of the endless that reigns there. They sound like distant entities, but each of us in our lives had encountered and interacted with the endless. Sometimes they are just fleeting shadows that vanish. Sometimes we see them in the form of a stranger. We see them in moments of black thoughts. Our lives, like all other living beings, are connected to the concepts of the endless. But of course, we rarely realize it. Powerful, yet all endless are bound by the laws established since the beginning of the universe by the Council of the First Circle. For example, an endless are not allowed to love a mortal, otherwise the mortal's downfall is assured. Another law is that an endless are not allowed to kill a member of their family, including their own descendants and the descendants of their siblings. Destiny. Destiny, also known as Patmos, is the first and eldest of the endless family. He is the most reclusive of the family, rarely leaving his territory. Destiny is often depicted as a tall, hooded man, the tallest of the endless. He smells of dust and the libraries of the night, leaves no footprints, and casts no shadows. His eyes are white, like those of a blind man, but he sees everything from the first day the Present created the universe until the day the universe ends. Destiny's hands are chained to a book, or the book is chained to destiny. The book cannot be taken, stolen, or given away until the end of everything. The book is called the Book of Destiny, or the Book of Souls. Inside, the book records everything that was, is, and will be. Within the book lies the destiny of all living beings, all existence, down to the smallest details. The book is a sigil of destiny. Nothing can happen outside the book. Destiny's realm is a garden of forking ways, a garden, a maze, a giant labyrinth, shrouded in mist like destiny itself, always a mystery, and no one can predict where the pathways will lead. No one except destiny. The younger sister, Delirium, once claimed to know the way through the garden, though no one knows if she can. Inside the garden, there are 7 statues representing the 7 endless. They shift and morph to reflect their prototype's current state. Destiny exudes an ancient and mysterious aura. He never reveals his emotion because he already knows everything, and nothing can make him react anymore. He is always solitary and seldomly interacts with other creatures or entities. Until now, only a rare few have visited Destiny's realm, including the other 6 endless, the archangels Lucifer and Michael, Ellen Belloc, the daughter of Michael, and the Fates, the trio goddesses. Destiny almost never talks, but whenever he does, every word he says always have paramount importances. According to Destruction, destiny, the concept of destiny, serves as the definition of free will, the ability to make your own decisions, and to take responsibility for your actions. Destiny and free will are 2 opposite sides. They define each other, because without destiny, there would be no such things as free will. Death. Death, also known as Tayute, is the second oldest of the endless family. Death is the concept of death. Death has countless different forms depending on the eyes of each creature. However, the most common form in the eyes of modern Westerners is an attractive young girl in her early to mid-20s with long jet black hair, pale skin, dressed in goth style, with the eyes of Horus tattooed on her right eye, and wearing a silver necklace with an Egyptian Ankh symbol, which is also the sigil of death. Death appeared from the moment the first living creature was born, because death begins when life appeared. Death's job is to bring her gift, death, to living beings, guiding their souls to where they need to go. Each living creature will only encounter death twice in their lifetime, though there are some exceptions. The first time is when a creature is about to be born. Death will bring the gift of life, but no one can remember this encounter. The second time is when a creature dies. Death comes to take their souls. Contrary to popular beliefs, Death is cheerful, innocent, playful, and friendly. She is the kindest, most approachable, and most human member of the Endless family, always willing to help her younger siblings. This contrasts sharply with her older brother, Destiny, who is always cold and distant. Death is very close to Dream. She has helped and talked with him multiple times. Death cherishes living creatures and values them greatly. She also loves her work and is willing to make exceptions if necessary. Initially, she considered her job to be very difficult. She even abandoned it for a time, causing Death to cease to exist. This led to terrible consequences, forcing her to return to her work. Afterwards, Death became incredibly irritable, cold, and ruthless. But in the soul of a little girl she collected asked her, "How would you like it?" This simple question has changed Death. And since then, once every century, Death dedicates a full day to live as a mortal, to love and cherish each life, the life that she carries. This has made Death much happier and more approachable. Death loves every soul she carries, some more than others. However, Death is not allowed to decide where a soul will go. Death is not allowed to manage her souls. Her responsibility is to guide the souls through worlds. The Sunless Lands is Death's realm. It normally resembles a quaint and delightful mid-century style modern home. That's how Debs likes it. However, the realm can be transformed to better resemble a shadowy, abstract palace that one would expect Deb to reside in. Deb's realm was implied to serve as a transitional realm, the place through which those who have just died entered and pass as they are transported to the next phase of their existence after death. According to destruction, death defines life, for without death, there is no life. When the universe reaches its end, only destiny and death will remain. Destiny will be the final page, and death will close the door. The universe will rest. Death, death's greatest gift, is not a sight or chains. She brings death gently. Death sweeps away all suffering, restoring to the soul its purest value. Death is before me today, like a sick man's recovery, like going outdoors after lockdown. Death is before me today, like the fragrance of myrrh, like sitting on the sails on breeze day. Death is before me today, like the fragrance of lotus, like sitting on the shore of drunkenness. Death is before me today, like a well-trodden way, like a man's coming home from warfare. Death is before me today, like the clearing of the sky, as when a man discovers what he ignored. Death is before me today, like a man's longing to see his home, when he has spent many years in captivity. Dream. Dream, also known as Morpheus, Oneros, Sandman, Lord of the Dreaming, is the third oldest of the endless family. Dream represents the concept of all that is unreal, dreams, stories, and expectation. When the first thing in the universe began to dream, dream appeared. Dream takes on countless forms in the eyes of countless beings across countless eras. But in the eyes of modern Westerners, dream is often depicted as a tall, thin man with pale skin, black hair, and eyes as black as a starry night. Dream sometimes wear the dream helm, a crown made from the spine of an ancient god, modeled into a gas mask. He wears it into battle as a symbol of power. It is also the sigil of Dream. Dream's other treasure are his sand pouch, which he uses to put people to sleep and to manifest his power, such as teleportation, and the Dream Ruby, which he uses as a conduit to channel and amplify his power. Dream's realm is the dreaming, a metaphysical plane of symbol, belief, and imagination that is ever changing. The inhabitants of the dreaming are called dreams and nightmares. Often they are gods, myths, and even ordinary humans who later became dreams. Inside the dreaming, anything can happen, just like dreams, unaffected by any physical boundaries or logic. The dreaming is the source of all myths and stories. It is also a store of what humanity has forgotten. You can find many mythological figures in the dreaming, from the brothers Cain and Abel, managing the house of mystery and the house of secrets, to Eve and Lilith, living in the cave in a dreaming. Like a beautiful dream that can instantly turn into a nightmare, Dream's personality is difficult to grasp. Dream has guided and helped many people in times of hardship, such as Augustus, Shakespeare, and Marco Polo. Dreams brings hope and shows people how to overcome harsh reality. Dream is a brief respite for the souls. But Dream is also cold, cruel, and vengeful. Delirium calls Dream the most terrifying of the endless family. Stoa, the sun god of Oa, once claimed that Death was kinder than Dream, and that was before Death became as friendly as she is now. Those who dare to oppose Dream will suffer extreme consequences, and every moment of their lives will become a literal nightmare. The clearest examples of this are Nada, the queen of the first city where man began, Dream's previous lover, who was sentenced to hell for 10,000 years, and Alex Burgess, who was put into an eternal sleep with unending nightmares. According to Destruction, dreams define reality. Reality is like a book on a shelf, and dream is the author's idea that shapes the book. Dream is the only members of the Endless family who has ever broken two laws established by the Council of the First Circle: to love a mortal and to kill a member of the family. And those things have led to Dream's downfall. Destruction. Destruction, or Oletros, is the fourth oldest of the Endless family. Destruction appeared when the first thing in the universe was created. Like the other Endless, Destruction's appearance is inconsistent. He is often depicted as a very tall, muscular, red-haired, and bearded man. In the past, Destruction wore military gears, such as musketeer uniform or plate armor, perhaps because war was the closest thing to destruction, but now he wears colorful casual clothes. Contrary to his role, Destruction always acts as a mediator in family conflicts. Destruction is described as humorous, easygoing, friendly, and approachable, perhaps only second to Death in terms of friendliness. Destruction has a good relationship with all members of the family, and is especially close to Delirium. Destruction enjoys music, paintings, poetry, and all artistic creations. However, Destruction is also willing to act ruthlessly, as when he devised a mechanism of destruction to eliminate anyone who might reveal his whereabouts. The sigil of Destruction is a sword. From around the 17th century, Destruction recognized the terrifying development of human weapons and realized he no longer needed to be responsible for the destruction of the universe. Destruction then abandoned his role as a destroyer and followed his own desires. Henceforth, Destruction became known as the Prodigal, and the sigil of Destruction disappeared from the Endless Family gallery. This doesn't mean that destruction has disappeared, but only that destruction no longer occurred according to destruction's will. Every living being will be responsible for their own destruction. The Fulcrum is the realm of destruction. Formerly his realm, Destruction vacated the Fulcrum after he abandoned his duties, leaving it as a void caught in a suspended explosion. The Fulcrum takes the form of an empty wasteland, seemingly trapped in a never-ending destructive sandstorm, accompanied by an explosion in a constant state formation. Nothing exists in this realm, with the only other item being a large black sword in the middle of the explosion, the Fulcrum Greatsword. Unlike the other realms of the Endless, the Fulcrum does not need an Endless to guide it, as shown when the Fulcrum continues to exist without its lord, due to the changing nature of destruction. After leaving, Destruction continued his passion for creation, painting, composing, and building, but he didn't seem to be very good at it, and he himself recognized that. Destruction still received attention from his siblings, especially his younger sister, Delirium. Destruction has a profound understanding of the Endless and their roles in the universe. He understood that each Endless defined a concept opposite to themselves. For him, destruction would define creation, because creating something new means destroying the old. You can't build a wooden house without cutting wood. You can't have fruits if the flowers don't wither. Desire. Desire, also known as epithemium, is the third youngest of the Endless family, and the older twin of despair. Desire is lust, encompassing everything we most desire, long for, admired, but can never attain. Desire's appearance varies according to individual perspective, but fundamentally, they possess all the beauty that others desire. Desires is described as a being of medium height, smelling faintly of summer peaches. They are strikingly beautiful, and while they are often portrayed and depicted with feminine characteristics and traits, they are fundamentally genderless and androgynous. Existent as a personification of desire itself, Desire's smile are brief and sharp. Their skin is pale as smoke, their hair midnight black, and their eyes are tawny and sharp as yellow wine. Desires cast two shadows, one black and sharp, the other translucent and wavering. The sigil of desire is a heart made out of glass, a beautiful masterpiece, but one that can never be touched. Desire's realm is a threshold. In it, the citadel is said to be the only thing to see in the twilight realm of desire. It is an unimaginably large representation of the current aspect of desire. The interior is furnished with boldly designed rooms. Desire is the only inhabitant of the realm and resides in the heart of the citadel. Along with despair, they are absolute opposites and contrasts of each other. One is desire, unattainable no matter how much one craves it. The other is despair, inescapable no matter how hard one tries. Desire is the most cruel and ruthless member of the endless family. Desire is their game to play to all living beings in the universe. They give them a goal to yearn for, driving them to pursue it madly, but never quite reach it. Meanwhile, desires revel in the misery of their victims. Along with despair and delirium, they toy with the lives of mortals. Desire even played a game on his brother Dream, creating a millennia-long feud with him. Desire is extremely cunning and devious, capable of devising incredibly secretive and terrifying schemes. Desire also frequently interferes with other people's affairs, preventing them from achieving their goals. Dream has experienced this. Dream and Desire were once close siblings, but after an incident, they turn against each other and harbor animosity for millions of years. Desire is the one who caused the most suffering in the endless family. According to Destruction, desires define hatred, the dark side of desire. If you have ever longed for something you could never have, desires become hatred. Despair. Despair, also known as aponoia, is the second youngest of the endless family and the younger twin of desire. Despair represents despair and suffering. Despair is often depicted as a short, obese woman with unkempt dark hair that is styled into a messy bun. She does not wear any clothing of any kind, but always wears her hook ring. She is the shortest of the endless. Despair has no odor. Her shadows smell musky and pungent, like the skin of a snake. Despair's sigil is a hook ring that she uses to cut her own skin or to pierce the heart of mortals, plunging them into despair. Despair's realm, the Grey Realm, is described as a formless, silent place without color or movement. It is filled with chilling mists and full of mirrors hanging in thin air. Each mirror is a visual glimpse into the soul of a person, which despair uses to observe them succumbing to their depression. The only living creatures that seem to occupy this realm are rats and despair herself. Despair is quiet, patient, and speaks little. Despair enjoys the suffering of all living beings, including herself. Therefore, the hook is what causes the numerous scars on her body. She enjoys the feeling of the hook cutting through her flesh, as well as tasting the blood dripping from its tip. But despair still prefers to escape despair and suffering. Despair has a relatively good relationship with her older twin, Desire. They often talk and cooperate. Although opposite in every way, if Desire is a masterpiece, Despair is the other side of the plywood, supporting the painting. Desire and despair are always together. Despair is also quite close to Destruction, and Destruction is one of the few who can pull despair out of her suffering. After an unfortunate incident, Despair also had a conflict with Dream. The current Despair is the second incarnation. The original Despair has a rosier skin tone, similar to Destruction, black hair, and is covered in red tattoos or markings. How or why the first despair was killed is unknown. In the wake, Dreams tells Hippolyta that the person responsible for the first despair's death will take an eternity to die. According to Destruction, despair defines hope, for only in the moment of utter despair can one truly understand what hope is. In Sandman, Endless Night, The Heart of the Stars, we see despair advising Raoul, the sun god of Krypton, to destroy all of Krypton. Only the young boy Kal-El survived, reaching Earth and later becoming Superman, becoming Earth's symbol of hope. Delirium. Delirium, also known as Mania, is the youngest member of the Endless family. She represents delirium, madness, and chaos. Delirium appears as a short, thin young girl whose appearance changed frequently, based on a random fluctuation of her temperament. She often sports wild hair and eccentric mismatched clothes, which can shift in style from moment to moment. Her only permanent physical characteristics is that one of her eyes is green with silver flecks, and the other is blue. But even though sometimes switch between left and right, she can adjust her eye to be the same color, but has said that this hurts her. Her shadow never reflects her shape, and is tangible, like velvet. She is said to smell of sweat, late nights, soured wine, and old leather. Sometimes, the space around delirium changes with her. In other words, the more you look at delirium, the sooner you will fall into madness. Delirium sigil is a constantly changing multicolored vortex. The madness is delirium's realm. It's a realm of shifting colors, fractured thoughts, and broken symbols. A place where reality dissolves and reforms without reasons. The madness reflects its mistress, unstable, fragmented, and unpredictable. Its landscape are fluid, sometimes beautiful, sometimes terrifying, often nonsensical, but always echoing delirium's mind. At its core lies a broken hourglass, engraved with the words "Tempus Fugit," which means time breaks in Latin, a reminder of her lost stability. It is said that one can only navigate the madness by focusing on delirium and travel towards the center. Delirium has a rather eccentric personality. She often says many nonsensical things. Delirium is quite childish, optimistic, cheerful, playful, and innocent. But she can also get angry and ruthless extremely quickly. A young girl once commented that Delirium looks pretty, and Delirium did something to make her happy for the rest of her lives. As the youngest siblings, Delirium has a good relationship with all her older siblings, especially Destruction. However, she is quite afraid of Dream. Delirium was once delight, the representation of joy, but at an unspecified time, for an unknown reason, even destiny doesn't know. Delight transformed into delirium. Delirium could force herself back into delight, to think and talk clearly, but she doesn't want to. According to Destruction, each endless defines a concept opposite to their own, so delirium defines awareness. Delirium is said to be the only endless who knows more than destiny. It is precisely because she knows everything but doesn't want to know it. That is why she became so delirious. The line between awareness and delirium is very thin. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for staying here with me. And I have an announcement for you. Have you ever wanted to have a deluxe version of a book for yourself? Ones like these, or these, or these? Well, I have a surprise for you. I'm giving away a deluxe edition of Doom. It's the book you see on the screen. In order to win, you need to be a subscriber and you need to comment. I will pick a random comment from a random video once I hit 10k subscribers. The book will be shipped straight to you, no matter where you live. You may ask me that, Dream, why are you doing this? Are you mad? Well, to be fair, I am. my dear viewers, because I am on a quest to break free from my 9 to 5 job in order to do YouTube full time. So please, like, share, comment, and subscribe to get my engagement up, and you get a book. We both win. Also, if you have any further suggestions for future videos, please put them in the comments. I will check all of them. And I will see you in the next video.